video. I assuming you shared the video. The number's still low. We had to get inside. I started late. I started at weird time. And I apologize. So we'll call it 9 o'clock is the time. Somebody asked me how I was smiling. So again, a lot of nice messages from a lot of supporters and I appreciating it. Let's do our best to share the videos to get past all the bumps, the humps and the obstacles. I do not know what it is they are doing. We are working feverishly. Satish Ramsaran, he gonna come out of this as a world-class knowledge as to how to fix internet in Trinidad and Tobago. Satish know everything about it, and what he don't know, he learning. Today or yesterday, which day was the International Women's Day Against Violence Against Women, which is an oxymoron in Trinidad and Tobago, because in Trinidad and Tobago, you could give them away, you could take them away, you could connect, you could kidnap, bundle them, sell them for organs. Nobody care. When the Minister of National Security, not this one, the last one, said to the nation in January that he said to the Parliament that he knew for certainty as a report that 57 women in this country were trafficked. Since then to now, I am asking him and the media, please, for the families, for the nation, for the healing, who are these people that you know for a fact were trafficked? And what, if anything, was done in the past 2 years to try and bring them back? Have they been carved up and sold for organs? Are they in the sex trade? What happened to the women? Today, the Progressive Empowerment Party's women's arm of the group put out, and I have to find it. They put out a release, and I don't have it, and I apologize for me not having it, but I have a lot going on right now. And you know, one of the reasons I run late is because Mr. Garth Christopher insists that he do an interview on the issue of the gates in Bayshore. So I was there to take part in that recently. Anyway, this is what was put out today as a media release, and I'm trying to open it. God is my witness. What Digicel, B-Mobile and Flow gets away with in this country as internet service provider borders on criminal. A young woman gets hit by her husband for the second time. He holds her down, trapping her in his arms. As soon as she can, she flees for her mother's home. They don't approve of her choice. She tells them, he hit me again, and they scoff. It's not like he put you in the hospital, you're fine, they laugh. How many women tell themselves that? How many women make excuses like that? The reasons for domestic violence are many. It is a complex phenomenon, but in Trinidad and Tobago, there is one clear fact about it. It is an epidemic. An Inter-American Development Bank IDB report published a few months ago showed that 1 in 3 of TNT's women have experienced intimate partner violence in their lifetime. Look up and look around you. That guarantees that there is at least one woman in your vicinity that has experienced intimate partner violence at some point in their lives. If not currently, and even though the causes of domestic violence are many, from the way we raise our boys and girls to undiagnosed mental illness and more, the government level response has been woefully inadequate. Why are there no state-run safe houses? Why are our police not specially trained to deal with these situations? Where are the clear plans for responding to that first report, whether to the police or at a hospital? Where are the strategies and systems set up to help the victim and monitor and treat the perpetrator, whether male or female? The President and the Minister of State, Office of the Prime Minister, Gender and Child Affairs both issued statements in recognition of International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. In her statement, the Minister of State vaguely described programs and initiatives to foster behavioral change, eliminate gender biases, etc. No examples of these programs and initiatives were listed, far less a measure of how well they may met assumed objectives. Since they seem unable to declare real solutions to this problem, the Progressive Empowerment Party will suggest a few. A specialized department in the TTPS, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, inclusive of a social mental health arm dedicated to this issue, site testing for all aggressors, male or female, on their first reports, rehab options for offenders with strict penalties for missing sessions or second offenses, safe houses that can accommodate both the mother and any children that are involved. And we've just gotten started. Domestic violence is a real problem. It is an epidemic. The Progressive Empowerment Party is ready to start fixing this and the many problems that have been allowed to fester and rot in our beloved country. It must be kismet that the UN's theme for the International Day this year is Orange the World. Hear me too. Why argue with Providence? Indeed. Well said, well written, Keisha Lewis, head of the Progressive Empowerment Party's Women's Arm, a very vibrant team of women that have undertaken to take on the mammoth task of parity in the workplace and safety and security in the nation for our nation's women. Yes? And it is a serious issue. And it is one that needs to be addressed apolitically. Outside of the parry and thrust of political bacchanal and noise. It is a necessity, a need, much like mental illness, treating with the high rates of mental illness. But we elect to office peons. We elect people that are borderline Neanderthals. Everything for them is a joke. Everything for them is, we continue to refer to special needs children as retarded. There is a release in the papers today about retarded children. This country is retarded. The government is retarded. It's set back. It's in a dark age. This is a wild and dark place. Trinidad and Tobago, people sharing to me today that Trinidad and Tobago is the most developed country in the Caribbean, and all that did was make me feel sorry for every other country in the Caribbean, because if this is developed, Papa yo, I could only imagine what the rest of them people putting up with, because this is a shithole, this is a cesspool, this is a failed nation, this is a banana republic, this is worse than third world. We must be fifth world by now. Trinidad and Tobago is a failed nation in every definition of that word. Trinidad and Tobago is broken, and broken by deliberate design. We are looking at people making do to survive every minute of every hour of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, under every government. The PNM and the UNC fail as first, second, and third years. Their mission is to frustrate and distract. So you are busy trying to keep your fires out while they make off with the lion's share of what they find in the treasury. We have a situation where our government seems to be borrowing to steal. And it is that we have to confront and resolve. France is showing the world. France could give a shit what the international news say. French people understand style and they understand fashion and they lead the world in it. But they also know very clearly the French Revolution precipitated and led the way for the United States to be free. So all the bullshit you hear the Americans tell the French, if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have won a war. The French people could tell America, and the reason the Statue of Liberty is a gift to America from France is that the American Revolution and the American Trust for Freedom against the British was not only precipitated by the French Revolution, it was assisted by the French people. The French people, if you don't know this history, dispatched ships to prevent the British from engaging further forces against the colonists at the time. And that's history. But right now in France, right now, they say no to the carbon tax. And they've said, and Macron decommission. Macron decommission is the cry. Do you know what that is? I feel so vindicated. The French people, the paragon of style and fashion in the world, have agreed with us. When we say, Kid Rowley, fire yourself, they say, Macron, fire yourself. We're going to start to say, Rowley decommission. It is time to fire them. And what the French people is telling the French government is don't fart around with us. We know fully well who's in charge here. Do not use our sources. Do not use our resources. Do not use our funds to pay our police and send our police against us. That will be a stupid mistake, and those who do not learn from history are condemned to relive it. I told the people on the interview on God Christopher show just now that when you hear me saying heads will roll, You ever hear that saying? Do as I say or heads will roll. That came from the French Revolution. Marie Antoinette, who did not understand how desperately angry the people were and how hungry and tired. And when her servants came to her and said, "Ma'am, the people have no bread," she, in her stupidity, in her ignorance, in her ivory tower view of the world, said, "Well, if they don't have bread, let them eat cake." And that was the last big statement she ever got to make. Because the guillotine was invented in France. And it took the heads off the royalty, literally. And it changed the way government was done in France. Of the people, by the people, for the people again. You hear that in America. But America adopted that from France. France has led the way in democracy. France and England is two different things, you know. England is an empire set, and still, England may have given way to Parliament, but the Queen still sits. They say the Queen is the richest woman in the world. I told people today, if the British monarchy was made to pay back all of the loot that they stole from all of the colonies, India, Trinidad, all of the colonies that that Great Britain had, if the Queen was made to just give back to the people what is rightfully theirs, England would be a third world nation begging for handouts and help. Know your history, learn your history. Conquering and colonizing, plundering and pillaging, raiding and taking. And you've gone back to gild your cages in gold. I remember I had a problem with a Trinidad journalist based in England. She feels herself so fortunate that she got to speak to the Queen. And I said, and she was doing a running commentary when the prince and the princess was getting married in the same church that blessed the good ship Jesus. I asked if she knew what the good ship Jesus was. I said, you're raining tears on your ancestors' graves right now. Because the good ship Jesus was the first ship dispatched to Africa to bring back slaves. And all of this is history. And I want to say to you, no, you cannot continue to drag slavery into every argument. But you have to level that playfield. You cannot continue to pretend that England is this mighty, mighty country because it is sitting on the loot of all the countries it colonized. Repay what you stole. And France, while a billionaire of France, the $82 billion that you owe to Haiti, write a check. Pay Haiti back. It is time that the world, we live in the world in the age of information. You cannot posture, stunt, and pose and pretend to be something that you're not, built on a lie. If your empire and your industry is built like in Trinidad and Tobago, there are companies in Trinidad and Tobago that gone legit, but built their empires on cocaine dollars, on money laundering dollars. This is a country that is broken at the top. Broken, completely broken. We have nobody addressing that issue. Nobody at all. It's not a matter of national conversation. It's not led from the top. It's not driven from the bottom. We don't care. We don't care. Who dares wins, who vex laws. It's Trinidad and Tobago. Who dares wins, who vex laws. It can't continue. And listen, hear me clearly. Save me the bullshit now, because I give you the information. You can act on it or you can don't, but don't argue with fact. I know a jackass who believes if he walks in the westerly direction, at some point he will walk off the edge of the world. I can't help him. I saw a meme and I sent it to him that says the moon round, the sun round, all the planets and the stars round, but Earth flying through space like a freaking frisbee. There are people who actually believe that the Earth is flat. That's who we are. That's where we are. We've condemned ourselves. I listen to people talk to me. They come to me and parroting this PNM bullshit about a PNM education, but they can't have the same conversation with me. They can't debate me. They can't discuss fact with me. They could barely string a proper sentence together and talking about the PNM education. And I want to ask them, did you have the same PNM education that you think that I had? Because let's see. Let's whip it out. Let's compare. Because if you think that this that you hear from me is a PNM education, bring yours. Did you get yours? Or did you not show up? Did you not study? Did you not give a damn? Because if you didn't, shut up. sit up and try to look intelligent while the rest of us have a decent conversation about fixing the country. And yes, it will benefit you too. I love all these people who are outside there now jump out themselves and talking like they're politically relevant and talking to me about what they did and I'm looking to see. And every day now Facebook is sending me memories, and memories 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. And it sent me a memory today, 7 years old. I want to read that memory to you. I want to show you 7 years ago, while everybody else was tying their shoelace and zipping up the zip and making sure that they were fixing themselves. You all know that the French people yesterday built a brick and mortar wall in front of the entrance to the tax office and sprayed on it, Macron, fire yourself, play with it. This is what Facebook reminded me that I posted this day 7 years ago. So listen, and I don't mind it, everybody jump in the thing, but know where you're coming from now. And if you're talking to people, know who you're talking to. Because if you just arrive, if you just show up in this conversation, understand, things have happened, things were done. There is a history to learn. My post today from 7 years ago is this: where you stand on the debate ought not to depend on whether you or your family and friends are personally inconvenienced at the moment. Because if they come for your neighbor and you say nothing, you make it easy for them to come for you tomorrow. The price of democracy is vigilance. And that was my post today 7 years ago, and I could only imagine the conversations that were taking place on the walls then. I can only imagine. We've been having people who now know me, people who now find me. They are trying to understand the level of work that we do politically, the level of discourse and conversation that we have every single day. It's a massive amount of work. We put out a lot. We put out more narrative, more national conversation than the government and the opposition combined. And we work this hard and have been working this hard for well over a decade. And we have a lot to show for it. We've accomplished a lot. There is a Dangerous Dog Act that is law because we would not accept bullshit. And when bullshit, and plenty of people do agree with the wording of the act, and they say you can't single out certain dogs and it should be all dogs. I agreed with all of that. But I knew the stunt artist that I was dealing with at the time. And the law was drafted a certain way and it was ready to pass. Pass that, amend it now. And all of you who think, and it's easier to amend a law than to write one, and all to draft one, and all of you who think that the issue needs to be addressed, where are you? Where the hell are you? We made sure that this law passed. There was a dangerous dog bill that was languishing, and we said, pass the freaking law. Put the responsibility for the actions of the dogs on the owners. I have a DJ partner used to be breeding pit bull like a pipeline and telling you this one is child and sire and offspring and thing and you know when a dog, you know when the value of a pit bull bloodline go up? When it kills somebody. And I thought this country was going mad. There was a security guard, a female security guard, left her family on Mother's Day to go to work, and a police officer who had a poorly protected property, his 7 pit bulls mauled the woman to death. Now there's so many things wrong in that sentence that he could have dangerous animals, because regardless of if your pit bulls, I ain't dwelling on this, but there are people who think that their pit bulls bake pastry and feed it to their kids, and that's cool. That's very, very cool. But there are also situations where dangerous dogs out of your control have killed other people. And while there is plenty science, and you're correct, I am not arguing that a Chihuahua and a Pekingese could kill people too. I am saying it should be every dog. I agree with you. But what I'm saying to you is, when that law was passed, the whole industry dry up like 5-cent shave ice in hot sun. All of a sudden, all them stunting gangsters that used to be walking down the road with 2 and 3 pit bull with all kind of metal brace on their head and thing, making them look even more aggravated, all of that done. People was throwing their pit bulls away. For a while, for years, me, ass like I am, had to get involved, spend my money, and rescue pit bulls. Because the same people who were using these dogs as terrorists now had to get rid of them because you were responsible and you were liable by law if your dog mauled somebody. And that whole situation that was escalating ended. We were responsible for that. We did a lot of work. When the Children's Authority Bill was drafted and passed, it was agreed to in the Parliament and languished for nearly 12 years. The Jericho Project, together with other organizations, led a march called the Akil Chambers Justice for Children March. The first year, we were surprised. We got about 5,000 people. Then Ramadan Singh himself, he was now Minister of Silly Walks and the people. He came and we had a small van with a speaker on the back and one microphone, and he hugged it and he made promises. And in the 12 months that he made those promises, nothing happened. And the next year, the Akil Chambers Justice for Children March, just before the march happened, a little boy by the name of Daniel Guerra was murdered. And it went viral because this little boy was anybody's child. And he was murdered. And it just galvanized interest. And we put 25,000 people on the road. It was a bigger march than any march has ever been before or since. 25,000 people. We started at King George V Park. When the front of the march was by Memorial Square, marching around the Savannah. The back of the march was still in St. Clair. 25,000 people. And that week, the government take night and make day and made that children's bill law. And it became law, and it was assented to. And you know what they did? They didn't fund the Children's Authority. They didn't fund it. So they gave us the law that we asked for. It's like, give them a gun, but don't give them no bullets. The next year, we marched again. And the next year, big numbers again. May not have been 25,000, may have been about 20,000. And then they realized we were serious. We got to march every year. That year, Akil Chambers' family came and they spoke. And because that day the march coincidentally fell on his birthday, and his cousins was talking about him and how old he would be and what happened to him, and we kept it in the front and center. The nation wasn't allowed to look away. I remember long before I became a political activist, I was sitting down drinking in a bar on Arapita Avenue. I think it was called the Zoo or something at the time. And I was sitting down there with 4 journalists, and I asked, why isn't anybody in the media asking every single day at the end of their column what is going on with the Akil Chambers case? Because Akil Chambers became the poster child of everything that was wrong in this country. And to this day, Akil Chambers has not gotten justice. And we know that at least one of the perpetrators is dead. Or we've been told, it is said, it is rumored, it is alleged, it's all this bullshit. Like it's rumored, it is alleged that the coroner said that the man that killed Asani missing teeth and bite on her left cheek. So they have a mouth print in this wild and mad place, Trinidad and Tobago. But we've been doing this for a long time. We are properly organized and set up to impact on the national conversation. All these people have is control of the police service and the treasury. That's what they have. That's what they have now. Without that, Keith Rowley sweeping street and town as he should be. He is the most underqualified, under-equipped, incompetent prime minister this country has ever had. All of his best effort has been spent enriching his friends. Keith Rowley has been a pathway to millions for a lot of people. He's facilitated a lot of people, and that is his track record. And now he is boasting about it. Because you could do that in Trinidad and Tobago. You could be a stunt artist and get front page of the media dancing with your daughter for her wedding and hope that the nation forget that you're a jackass of a father, that for more than 31 years, you denied you had 2 sons and had them deny you as their father. You can't fool a nation because you decide now to stunt for your daughter. Gart and the other one, what happened to them? And you signed and you lied. I'm not even in public office yet. I have 2 children. I claim both. You're a joke. Kid Christopher Rowley, you are a joke. You are the punchline to a joke. The only thing worse than you is everybody standing behind you in that government in whatever order you line them up. A bunch of jokers, a bunch of stunters, incapable, a capacity of 0. We've gone backwards. I asked somebody today, think of Trinidad from 1962, 72, 82. Come forward. Look at the country. Contrast and compare the development of other countries, Singapore, Dubai. Frig, pick any country you want. Look at where they went, what they had. We were blessed with an embarrassment of riches. What did we do with it? What did we do with it? We've played race games. We've allowed ourselves to be dumbed down. The people of this country has taken and accepted bullshit education and coming back and boasting about it. Miss me with that bullshit. The education you have and the education I have is not the same thing. And you can have the education I have. Make it available to you. It takes effort and it takes work and it doesn't require a P&M. And it doesn't require oil dollars. It requires a thirst for knowledge. And that is something I still have. I learn things every day. I like that. I like knowing that I learn new things every single day. And if you and I have a conversation and I cannot answer a question, I promise you to research it and come back to you with fact. But there are too many people who prefer to live like ostriches, who bury their heads in the sand, who pretend that this is normal when it is not. There are people who leave this country, go away, see how first world countries work, and come back here and tolerate this bullshit for no other reason but race. For no other reason but race. So now, there's a progressive empowerment party, and you know, we are no side chick for the UNC, and we are no side chick for the PNM, and we are nothing like the Congress of the People because we've come too straight. Our policies rock the national conversation. People say, wait now, you all knew this too? There are other people who know that you could fix traffic, fix education, fix healthcare, fix food production. You could make this country affordable for everybody. We could clean up the at-risk hotspots, dispossess, bring them back into the national family, give everybody who open opportunity and set this country on a track to success, to make it the paradise on earth that it was meant to be, to use Tobago to its full advantage to all of the people of the country. That is possible. There are people who can actually have that as a political conversation. There are many people in this country who are so fed up and frustrated that if they're still here, they don't want to hear politics. Man, miss me with that. I want to hear, I don't care. They've been abused for so long, and rightly so, you can't blame them. And this is why we have to work so freaking hard. We have had more political meetings since we formed than the government and the opposition combined. There are no other options. Every now and then, Carolyn C. Prasad Bechan and her 2 friends in the COP will have a little conversation at school. And Carolyn C. Prasad Bechan, maybe she's a good technocrat to use in the energy sector, and maybe she could be hired for that job. But the Congress of the People is over. It's over. It's like your child, it's like your schoolyard crush. It was fun while it lasted, but it's done. And you can't fix your life until you move on. To the couple people still hanging around the Congress of the People, they have nowhere to go. You are literally wasting your time and watching with contempt and jealousy that the Progressive Empowerment Party, no matter who comes at us, no matter what they bring at us, no matter what they do to us, we're still growing by leaps and freaking bounds. That there has never been a political party like this party at any time in this country's history. Not Eric Williams, not George Chambers, not A.N.R. Robinson, not Patrick Manning, not Bastio Pandey, not Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and certainly not this stunting jackass, Keith Christopher Mugabe Sabgarol, king of the infidels, first black Syrian. Trinidad and Tobago knows, and they know full and well. They know full and well in every way that you could know that nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago. They can't even lie to themselves. We invent something that the rest of the world don't have. You know what we invent? We invent a stoops. And you know what stoops is for? That stoops is it's an exclamation of disappointment. That's what a stoops is. That is when you can't believe it that bad. That they don't even have words. You gotta make a sound effect. And I have a friend with big, big lips, and when he stoops, it's caused a little tremor. But that's what a stoops is. An expression of disgust and disappointment, and all of us use it, and all of us know it, because all of us, Nazir Muhammad asked me to do it again, because all of us know how disappointing and frustrating life in this banana republic is. Nobody gets up excited to deal with any office of state. Nobody goes in to, unless you are a member of the finance contractocracy cabal or the 1%, and you have your links in the PNM and the UNC, and you're feeding hard to the extent that you don't give a shit about nobody else, and that is cool. But even you and your children suffer the consequences of your actions. And like a fool that doesn't know each and every raindrop contributes to the flood, had you taken the time to respect your role in society, and that like ripples in a pond, we impact and affect each other, you would have made sure that your ripples were positive ripples, so that your offspring and your loved ones wouldn't have to face the consequences of the bullshit that you did. And there were a lot of people outside there walking around. There were a young sap girl who's trained in the same gym as me, and has been watching me all the time like daggers. Like, what the hell, dude? It's not my fault your family corrupt. It's not my fault. I would like to celebrate everybody, but I know somebody has to do this. In every country, there has to be people who stand up, who put country first, who put the needs of others. God, Christopher asked me, Philip, do you think today, Aidan Crixus Alyoung asking me, do you think it's worth it? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Of course it is worth it. If we wake people up every single day, at some point, we will achieve a critical mass of the awoke. There will be a tipping point when bullshit will no longer be the order of the day. Could you imagine this nation where every political party had to employ politicians who understands politics, who understands that the well-being of the citizens is the function, reason, and purpose for and of government, so that when they come to talk to the citizens at election time, they have an answer to every single question, questions that sound like, how will you manage the disproportionate disparity in the education system that sends 3,000 forward to a life of success and consigns 17,000 others also ran? What is your plan for that? What and how do we get around the $5 billion spent every single year on public health to fail the people? Somebody said to me last night, where somebody shared, that Mount Hope Hospital was in darkness. It was in darkness. There was no lights. A woman trying to get her car fall and broke her ankle. The security guard was sitting down in total darkness in the booth. And she asked, what sort of mad country is this? And I shared that. And this fellow named Reynald Olivieri, a PNM sycophant. I mean, he is the sicko in sycophant. Came to say, Stoops, that there is a TNTech and there is a board. How is this the government job? That jackass, that is the product of a PNM education. That answer that doesn't understand that TNTech and the board answers to the government. That the function of the government is to make sure that the lights are on in all public buildings, and they do so through the board, through TNTech. But it's the government's job. The buck stops there. But that jackass is happy to walk around with his PNM education, proud of his ignorance and boastfully sharing it. Like many like him, and there are too many. that I have come to the decision that I cannot educate everybody. And to the ones who want to partake of knowledge, I share freely. But to those who have abdicated the use of reason, I am not in the business of trying to beat a dead horse. If you're stupid and you're proud of your stupid, trust me, keep it stupid. I respect even that. But this nation is not a nation that you can approach for a national conversation about change easily. People are broken and consigned to a racist position that they disguise with some information that they parrot. But that information is not the real line in the sand. The real line in the sand is we time now, our base. And that will always be the case when you deal with the PNM and the UNC, two vacuous and inane, intellectually bankrupt organizations that rely on continuing the social divisions that the British Empire did to divide and rule Trinidad and Tobago. And as long as that continues to be our situation, as long as we refuse to accept the pathway to reason and knowledge, common sense, intelligence that's available, it grows wild on the ground. If you are not willing to partake of that, there is nothing nobody could do to help you. Nothing. And that's a sad and morbid statement to make. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we could rescue this country. And to do that, it means leaving no citizen behind. Yes? You share the video yet? Share the video, please. Share it.
I visited Parliament Chamber, witnessed an orchestra, a bang, 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 of only politicians. Rated their performance and style, talent and endurance, a bang, 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 of parliamentarians. Politics that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate, bridges replaced by gates, nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism, amagism from the UNC to the PNM, COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony. The TOP, MSJ and JC and D, political symphony. It's a symphony. Stop taking it cool.
Don't be played for a fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule, to justify their pull. The race can always pull. And that is reality. Kurt Allen sang that for you nearly a decade ago. We live in a country where we know this for a fact, where the media gathers people on election night and talk about PNM base and UNC base. When Fazir and Heyman then bring new political party leaders on their show, the first question they ask, who is your base? Now they wouldn't dare ask me that. What do you mean by that? What is a party's base? What do you, Heyman, think that means? What do you, Fazir? Fazir will answer. Fazir will say we're racist. It's a racial poll that the elections takes three groups of people into account. The racist PNM, the racist UNC, and the people who want nothing to do with elections. Because we may be saying that we're voting the other out, but we don't vote them out on issues. And we don't vote them out on their performance, you know. We vote them out on we time now. Because Ghassan Youssef, a former mayor of Arima, said today that the PNM cannot continue to talk about all the UNC did wrong and not bring somebody to justice. Can't do that. You cannot do that. For all the hate, you hate Manning. Manning did the work of bringing Ish and Steve and Russell Huggins and Brian Quaitong and Brian Girlfriend Rene Pay and all of the other people in the airport, Piarco Airport scandal. And if we ever needed confirmation that he was not wrong, Guterres and the others who were involved in it with Ish Galbaransing and Steve Ferguson were tried in the United States of America in Miami, pled guilty, paid massive fines and went to jail. They were found guilty. Ish and Steve have a case waiting for them still. We've written laws, including Section 34, to shield UNC financiers Ishwa Galbaransing and Steve Ferguson of maritime life. In the first time in our history, 2 companies were charged with criminal acts. Northern Construction, owned by Ishwa Galbaransing, and Maritime Insurance Company Limited. Both of those companies are still under a charge, a criminal charge, in a nation where we are not paying attention. And because we are not paying attention, a minister of agriculture could have given himself the Caroni floodplain, build houses on it, sell it to Rowley and his friends in the PNM, and let Rudal and Kamla give them out to people who end up lying down on a roof, hoping to survive when the floodplain went to work, doing what it's supposed to do, what it's been doing for 1,000,000 years, absorbing floodwaters. But we pretend and we stunt and we pose and we make high-sounding conversations. Keith Rowley made an ass of himself, a further ass, when he told the nation that the pipes that the water was supposed to bend in, the water didn't pay attention. Like Keith Rowley believes that the water is as stupid as the people that follow him, that he could tell the water, now listen here, bend the corner so we don't flood. Ganga Singh is saying that the UNC had a plan. For Ganga Singh to say that the UNC had a plan and that Rudal and Kamla gave out keys before the UNC executed that plan makes a liar of Ganga Singh. But that's what the UNC does, circle the wagons and lies well. They lie with degrees. So Ganga Singh could tell the nation that the UNC had a plan to prevent the flooding that was sure to come because they knew it would come. That's why they had that plan. Why put people to live in houses in a place that you know requires 13 retention ponds and not build them first? Why? Ganga Singh. To the people who talk about a PNM education, you see that question there? That is critical thinking. And if the Progressive Empowerment Party was the government in office, Ganga Singh would be made to answer for his foolish statement. And that helps bring people to justice. Because both the UNC and the PNM are criminally liable and culpable in what took place in Greenville. But what they're trying to do right now is buy out these same poor people. So they're meeting with them privately through lawyers and through stunters who represent the PNM and say, all right, now, take out something. Where one? Take your money, hush and go. And that's the game we play. So John Rahal and Keith Rowley and Camille Robinson Regis are not brought to justice. This is not a real country. In a real country, Keith Rowley, John Rahal, and Camille Robinson Regis would be answering to the court right now because they are responsible. But that won't happen as long as we play base voting. And I want to speak to the people again who do not vote. If what you want is a country that works, get on board the Progressive Empowerment Party. We've tolerated 56 years of abuse. This is our last real chance to get all of the civic-minded patriots together on a real country-first, policy-driven political movement and effect change to the benefit of everybody, that like a rising tide lifts all boats. so that all of our people, none of them are left behind. Anybody who wants a job could get one. Anybody that goes to school benefits from the same high quality prestige education. That the $5 billion spent on public health delivers healthcare with dignity and respect for the person. And you see, the day you get a government that is that bent on making sure that all the people, regardless of the ones that don't like you, even they benefit. Where at some point, even the most sycophantic of PNM and UNC trolls will tell the people, 5 years into a progressive empowerment party government, I don't like that man, but I don't have to like him. He's the best prime minister this country has ever had. I have never seen so much development, so much turnaround, so much fix. Our public sector is a joy. Our country is a blessed paradise. Traffic is no more. Education works and leaves no child behind. Public health is a dream. Look at what goes on. If you want a job, you can get one. If you have a job and you want to own a home, there's support for that. If you don't want to be an employee and you have an idea and you want to start a business, there's a system for that. You can be certified and credited in any field of endeavor. Trinidad and Tobago has never had a government that speaks to you like that. They will bullshit you. I watch the UNC without these people have no shame. Saturday, I walked down Diego Martin Main Road because I walked Keith Rowley's constituency Saturday, and I started in Diego Martin West, and I did a video showing the conditions of the pavement and all of the things that were wrong within a quarter-mile walk. And that video, when it was shared, and do you know that the UNC copied and did the same video in Carenage, almost word for word, calling out the same Keith Rowley in his constituency the next day. So without us doing stuff for them to copy, could somebody tell the nation what exactly is the role of this version of the opposition? If they're devoid of a unique idea, an original thought, what does Kamala Prasad-Bisesa and her band of thieves bring to the national conversation of any value to anybody? What? Because if you are a voter, regardless of the texture of your hair, the color of your skin, or what your last name sound like, who you vote for have nothing to do with who you're giving a prize to, and everything to do with who you're choosing to run the country to the benefit of you and your loved ones. That's the whole conversation. When you're choosing a government, it must be predicated on the fact that you believe that the well-being of the citizens is the function and purpose of government, and choose the person or persons best capable to effect that. Because if you don't, we will end up right back here playing stunt politics, bullshit politics, roti politics, bacchanal and noise politics, old talk and bossa-mark politics. Hire little stunters on Facebook to talk shit to make the bullshit that you're doing sound like sugar politics. And you get nothing for it. We have developed backwards for the past 20 years. Everything they've built has been to the benefit of financiers, the 1% of the Chinese government. Nothing has been to the betterment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Not one plan, not one policy in the last 2 decades has elevated the condition of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And if that is not enough to wake you to hell up, to make you stand up and say, you know what, that's it, enough. I don't know what will be. Because it is time. It is way past time. We are running out of time. Share the video, please. Everybody knows that you can call Phillip or the PB when the government and the opposition have no answers. What does that tell you?
Your vote will decide our destiny.
Your vote will decide what you want to be.
Your vote can foretell our country's fate. Prove and use it well
Before it's too late.
if it is that who you're voting, baby, or not out.
When you're voting,
Vote them wrong. Vote them wrong. If it is they prove it
to be only full of mouth.
when you're voting, vote them wrong. Vote them wrong. If it is the time is now that
Change must come about. Just Make America Great Again. This song they played to Tony Anthony Hernandez. He sang that song 35 years ago. Let's put our country together again. The Trinidad and Tobago that you want, that we need. The Trinidad and Tobago that we imagine as the best blessed paradise on earth. The Trinidad we want our children to grow up in, and we want to grow old in. That Trinidad and Tobago, that is possible. We've misused and misaligned our votes for 56 years. We've allowed stunt artists like Eric Williams. Eric Williams has been nothing but a proper poser, a shit talk artist. You could tell me what you want. Look around. By their fruits you shall know them. Don't tell me what he say. Don't tell me what he write. Tell me what he did. Maya Angelou said, people will never forget how you made them feel. Look at the legacy of these jackasses. When you want to deify Patrick Manning, tell me why. Tell me why. And I will show you a man who spent his term in office correcting the sins of the same PNM he served. Trinidad and Tobago has been awash with misery for 56 years because of the actions of the PNM and the UNC, and that is undeniable. Tell everybody, vote them out. They have done an injustice to the people of this country. Their legacy is sin and contempt for decency. Fire them. I think back to the people who lived their whole lives as decent, law-abiding citizens, working hard, that were never allowed to own a home. You could get a HTC bullshit tenement ghetto complex. You could get that so I could enrich my 1% friends. But you, to genuinely do your work, earn your money, go to the bank and make a deposit and buy a house? No, that can't happen in this Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic. No, sir. Here only indecency must prevail. That is the legacy of the PNM. And I have been asking, since I heard Keith Rowley talk this great is the PNM bullshit, tell me Keith, what exactly is the PNM great at? And to those who peddling that list of what the PNM doing the 56 years, I'm going to apply numbers state for you. It's $3 trillion they spend. Minister is such a jackass that he doesn't understand that scratch bombs are already against the law. They're already illegal. They break 3 laws to own them, have them, sell them. that just the presence of them is a breach of 3 laws, Summary Offences Acts. He does not need to ban something that is already illegal. What he needs to be able to say is how they plan to enforce the law. And that there is a problem. If something is illegal and prevalent in the country, then you failed. And what did you fail at? Securing the borders. Securing the borders. We tie it back together to the International Day Against Violence Against Women. All of the kidnapping and all of the hostage taking and all of the human trafficking, all of that is a function of wide open borders. Somebody said to me today, heaven have walls and a gate. Is hell that have no borders, open borders. Trinidad and Tobago, hell on earth.
If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, move them on, move them on. If it is a frustration,
Just make you want to shout when you're voting.
move them on, move them on.
Before they just thief out, sell out, and things out. Them and their friends, that's all they do.
If you vote them,
Eating, boy. Vote them out.
register and vote them on. All of them, vote them on. Say no finger and vote them on.
Them and the system.
Vote them on. Vote them out in Scarborough and in Port of Spain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out in Congo.
And in La Romaine.
Let's put our country together again.
The job is ours, the function is ours, the responsibility is ours. You cannot be lazy with your democracy. Apathy helps nobody. But those who benefit handsomely from plundering and pillaging the treasury. We have allowed this to become our legacy. All of this was done in our name and continues on perpetually. 56 years of nothing but misery. This, Trinidad and Tobago, has been broken by deliberate design comprehensively. The PNM and the UNC is the source of all the pain and misery the people of this country continue to endure. And it is the responsibility of every single citizen of this country to apply the cure. That was a nice little guys, so where's going on? Extempo. That was an extempo. People must come first. Citizens by right. None of we was yellow, black or white. Food, shelter and clothes. Free movement and speech. A garden that grows. And one law for each. What's the name of the 74-year-old woman? They just cut her throat and kill her. What's her name? Christopher Phillip outside the hospital. People reminding me of these things. Look, this Rachel, what's her name? Sukdeo. Look at the amount of women missing. We can't account for hundreds of our people. How could this be our reality and we not be upset? In France, they raised the price of freaking gas by 8 cents. They grind the country to a halt. Yeah? They raised the price of gas 3 times and only a riot, so they thief all your whole gas company.
If it is that injustice is what they always show, when you're voting, vote them on, vote them on.
If it is that avarice is all they seem to know, when you're voting,
Vote them on, vote them on.
if it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come, all bandits must go. All 41.
Register and vote them on. If they don't see, vote them on. Say no finger and vote them on. Show them no mercy, vote them on. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain.
Let's put our country.
Together again. Put them out of power.
Terminate the reign. Let's put our country together again. Trinidad and Tobago is one of the most blessed nations on earth. Everything that we need to fix this country and bring it back to its superior status we already possess by dint of location and other blessings. Trinidad and Tobago can be paradise on earth convincingly, to quote David Rudder. You just have to want it. We have to work for it. There is an effort to be expended behind it, but with a plan, and that as a mission to make sure that not one single citizen is left behind. I mean, the Progressive Empowerment Party has plans and policies for the homeless, for the mentally ill, for the drug addicted. We have plans and policies for the flooding and the plastics that lead to the flooding and the lack of retention ponds and dams and lakes. We have a plan and a program and a policy to make sure that jobs become the government's main interest, so that there are more jobs than people, and anybody who have a job that want to own a home can. That's where we need to go. Because if we redevelop the politics of the person, if we fix the family, fix the neighborhood, fix the community, we fix the nation. A nation is a collection of communities. Once you treat with it at that level, it must fix. Ignore the bullshit, ignore the stunting, ignore the racism, ignore the stupid people who walking around with that PNM education thinking they're bright. They're not even bright in bright light. Listen. You want a better country, get on board. This Saturday at 3 o'clock, we're meeting at Stanmore Avenue, PEP headquarters, mass meeting. Come out in your numbers. Come and join us. We changed the time from noon to 3 to accommodate the people who have chores, who have children that have extracurricular activities, and the people who work in. So 3 o'clock, you could come and join us. Walk with something to share, sandwiches, cake, rock cake. Last week we had Right. There's a company, Right, they put out pepper sauce and chana, and anyway, they brought coconut drops. My God, you should have tasted that. I eat 3. Anyway, this coming Saturday, here, tell yourself, I've been telling myself that I'm going to a PEP meeting, come to this one. This is an important one. Come and join us. To all the PEP members who didn't get notification, we are having a management meeting tomorrow at 5:30. If you are considered management or a part of any team, your presence is required. Show up at HQ. Trinidad and Tobago, we are working very hard to build a real and viable political platform that gives every creed and race an equal sounding place. You have an opportunity to speak truth to power with, through, and on the Progressive Empowerment Party. Come and join the Orange family. There are a lot of people that tell you the first time they come, they feel like I was always part of this. I can't believe I wasn't here all the time, and I'm here now. Get me involved. And I love that. That's what I love the most about the Saturday meetings. The first time comers that say, boy, we following you 2 years now, we following this movement, and we here, but we in the game. Trinidad and Tobago, you want a better country? Come and add yourself to the growing mass of civic-minded patriots who are working to build us a better alternative to the madness that is PNM and the UNC. 347-4PEP, peptrinbago@gmail.com, peptt.com. There is a PEP app, PEP, APP. Download it from any of the app stores for free. We have a PEP YouTube channel for those who have any difficulty at all with the Facebook live feed. What more to tell you? We have organizations and teams within this party for every skill set and every skill level. Come and get on board. You do not have to have a degree. All you need to have is a love for country and an interest to see it better, and that we work with. Yes? So until we speak again, hopefully tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.